Hello, hello, hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom, SP3. We are back once again with our weekly podcast, Tru Heel Heat 123. On this edition of Tru Heel Heat, we will be discussing the latest wrestling news, including the fallout from Impact Rebellion and the historic Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann title versus title main event. We're going to have more fallout from what is being called Hefty Gate 2021 as Mickie James tells all on the Grown Ass Woman podcast, as well as Carmella makes some very interesting comments about the WWE Women's Division on the Bella Twins podcast. Warner Media gets the NHL rights and how that affects AEW on TNT. CMLL splits from Ring of Honor, preview and predictions for New Japan Pro Wrestling Dontaku, and nights 1 and 2, and as well AEW Blood and Guts next Wednesday. We're going to preview that as well, and much, much more. I am back once again with the princess of all the true heels, the beautiful, the lovely Miss Krssi Love.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back, Top Guy. What's going on, SP? Happy to be here. Can't wait to talk. Let's get it popping.
And yes, like you said, welcome back, the returning resident Tru Heel alcoholic himself, Top Guy JJ.
Yeah, I needed to get the large size cup. I needed to get the bottle coquito. You know, I had, because this is going to be a nice juicy discussion.
Absolutely. Juicy discussions always happen here on Tru Heel Heat. This edition of Tru Heel Heat is brought to you by our friends over at Powered 4 TV, as well as Battle Club Pro. Battle Club Pro, May the Franchise Reign, coming up on May 29th. 2 shows in 1 day to determine the next heavyweight franchise champion. Tru Heel Heat will be the official sponsors for the championship match, and our official sponsored athlete is, of course, the Allfather, Darius Carter.
Woo-hoo.
And Powered 4 TV, if you want 50% off of your first month of Powered 4 TV, the #1 UK streaming site for all of independent pro wrestling, you can go over there and type in the promo code SP3 for 50% off your first month. And of course, we got to give a shout out to our other good friends over at Mission Pro Wrestling and their next huge event, which is actually today when you are watching this, Saturday, May 1st, Locked and Loaded. That will feature La Rosa Negra versus Red Velvet for the Mission Pro Wrestling Championship, as well as Thunder Rosa going one-on-one with the host of Bustin' Open Radio, Dave LaGreca. That should be quite an interesting show with those 2 main events. So go over to Title Match Wrestling Network and check it out. You can live stream it as the show goes on live. And we start off every Tru Heel Heat by telling you, if you're watching this on YouTube, drop us a like. Share this video with all your wrestling fans, friends, family. Of course, if you're new to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button. Over 35% of you watching Tru Heel Heat do not subscribe to the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. So it's time to change that. Smash that subscribe button, push the bell to stay notified so you can always get alerted whenever we have new content right here on Tru Heel Heat. And if you are listening to us on any of your favorite audio podcast platforms, make us a favorite, leave us a review, and let us know what you think about Tru Heel Heat. And we start things off with our Tru Heel roll call. This is for the people that are supporting us on social media, on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. We shout out the top 3 conversation starters, the Negro Bucks of the world. Coming in at number 3, we have Luis Jaden. Coming in at number 2, we have my good brother, the co-host of Powered 4 SP3, John Scott. And coming in at number 1 is Heels and Faces Wrestling. So I'm going to put this out to you guys, because I keep looking every week, and I keep looking for a change in this top 3 conversation starters. And it seems like every week we have a change, but it's only because we are leaving out the real number one of who is number one on our Tru Heels group page. So I don't know about you guys, but me, I was thinking about it today. We deal with a professional wrestling podcast. So we should do professional wrestling things. So although we have retired the Negro Buck Nick Jackson, I think it's about time that he unretires and breaks his retirement and comes back. And if he is number one in the top 3 conversation starters, then we should say that he is number one. We shouldn't change the rules and retire his jersey. I know that is a basketball reference, but we're a wrestling podcast, so he should just unretire. He's Ric Flair.
I mean, he's like Undertaker.
Yeah, Hall of Famers got inducted and they still fight and they still wrestle.
I have no problem.
Yo, hold on. You said, where's James Wims at, bro? Like,
That's
he didn't even make it.
Nope, he wasn't even in the top 10.
Maybe he was.
He living his best life.
Yeah, he had,
Oh, he living his best life. Oh, he didn't even make the top 10. He living his best life. He didn't even slap him. Salute to you, brother. He living his best life.
Not enough New Japan for him to be in the top 10, I guess. But yes, that is my suggestion. I will leave it to everyone in the comments, everyone who's watching us live when this drops on Saturday. Leave us in the live chat. Let us know. And Nick Jackson, you yourself, do you want to unretire and be back in the top 3 conversation starters if you are still number one, which you were this week? Yeah. Heel and Faces Wrestling was really number 2. That's why I'm making this suggestion.
But shout outs to you guys last week. Yeah. You guys had a really nice episode. And you know who else made the countdown really interesting too? You know who was number 2? JMC was on the top 3 last week. So Jason Michael Campbell made that countdown. So there has been some variance. There has been some diversity on that top list. It's just, nobody's been unable to unseat Mr. Negro Buck here.
Yes.
So true.
We wanted to end his streak, but I think that is about time. We did enough. He's been retired since Tru Heel Heat 100.
He's the Undertaker. He ain't ready.
We've gone months without acknowledging that he is number one.
He's not ready. He's the Undertaker. He ain't ready.
He's not ready.
Couple more Tru Heels we got to shout out. Daniel Roberts, Matt Martin, Alonzo Cruz, Van Robbins, and Generation Z. YouTube subscriber highlight, John Aries commented on the A&E biography Roddy Piper review with myself, Romeo. He says,
good, guys. Good one.
He says, I was a kid watching wrestling on UHF channel 52 here in LA. I remember how big the Guerreros were. Hector was my favorite, and Rowdy, we loved hating him. This A&E biography brought back some great memories. That was John Aries on our A&E biography, Roddy Piper review. Over on the Impact Wrestling Rebellion Roundtable review, we had Brett Thomas comment and say, "This is a great review show. I caught and as only saw it up on Facebook late. SP3 is great. Romeo is most realistic. Kenny." And this is what Brett Thomas has become, is one of our biggest heels, whether it's in the live chat, whether it's in the comments. He just knows how to get.
He likes to get underneath your fingernails.
He does. Okay. He says, Kenny was poor on excitation. I don't know what type of word that was. Excitation. Reading social media, all fans are happy, not angry, that he has won. ROH on a pay-per-view basis is still better overall than TNA, but Tony likes it as he probably saw some math statistic that tells him it's a winning formula. AEW will
comment sound like it was excitation.
AEW will sign Jake Paul. Chris Jericho sees money in it after his tweet. So Brett Thomas, bring in the heat in the comments section, and he gives us the perfect segue to talk about Impact Rebellion, which was this past weekend. It was live on pay-per-view on Sunday night, April 25th, and it was main evented by the Cleaner, Kenny by God Omega, defeating Rich Swann in a 23-minute tremendous main event to retain the AEW World Championship and become the new unified Impact World Champion. It was an exciting match. I didn't get to ask you guys before we started recording if you guys watched, but please give us your thoughts on this match. I gave my thoughts on the round table, but my very important question regarding this match is regarding what happens next, and what do you think Kenny Omega's next title will be that he is a part of his belt collection? Let's start with our returning top guy JJ. Thoughts on the match, and then what title you think is next for Omega?
Honestly, I thought Rich Swann really did better than I expected. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a great competitor, but that status of a match, some people fold when it comes to that big of a title. It's a title unit. It's a brand unification match, and props to Rich Swann for stepping up to the plate for that type of match. Because that you could fall, you could flop it. It could become a really crappy, unexecuted one guy carrying the entire match deal for the entire 23 minutes that they went at it. But that wasn't the case. That really was not the case at all. And this is not noticing how good Rich Swann is. This is just acknowledging how good he actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Because listen, we already know Kenny is the best bout machine in the world of wrestling. We know that. We know how good Kenny Omega is. So that's why I felt so much pressure was on Rich Swann, because that's in a sense why I wanted Moose to be in that match, because I just thought that Moose would have just easily have been in a better position in that match. But damn, Rich Swann, shut me up. Rich Swann fucking delivered. Like, Rich Swann fucking delivered in that match, and we kind of knew where that match was going to head to anyway. We knew it was going to be the Golden Cleaner, so it was just foregone conclusion. But props to you, Rich Swann, and that shit was fucking amazing. And as far as the next belt that Kenny should go for, that's. Do they have any inklings or any dialogue with MLW?
No.
So if they don't, then the next one that would even remotely make sense. But honestly, I don't see any other title needing to be combined like that anymore. So maybe he can go for secondary titles in other promotions. But the other one would have been the TNA Heavyweight Championship. But I don't see the NWA Heavyweight title. But I don't need that title to be unified on anybody. That title has its own prestige and own, like, Nick Aldis has done the damn thing with that title for almost 3 years. There's no need to unify that belt just to make somebody else look better.
Well, it's not unified. It's just going to be a part of Kenny Omega's collection.
Wrong word, but I don't want to see that belt being added to somebody's stable of titles. It just looks like another belt. I'm good with the 4 belts that he has. I'm good with that. Like, he has 4 championships. Like, I am perfectly fine with that.
It's 4 of them?
Yeah, because it's the unified Impact title. It's the Impact and the TNA Heavyweight Championships.
Oh, got it. I thought it was 3 altogether.
No, he has 4. He has 4.
No wonder, because I'm like counting. I'm like, where did the extra belt come from? But maybe
yeah, he has 4, and it's like, I'm good with that.
That's a lot. You don't need no more.
You don't need to chase Austin Aries. He ain't gonna do that because that shit did nothing for him. It did nothing for Aries.
Austin Aries. He's chasing Ultimo Dragon.
He's chasing the ultimate picture. He's chasing the greatest picture of titles in history. But he don't need it. He is.
He's the cleaner.
He is 2 of the biggest brands champion at the same time. He is the Impact and the AEW champion. Like,
right.
When have we got that before? And God, please, we're not talking about when Jericho won the 2 titles. That doesn't count. It's the same company, same night. Yeah, whatever. But 2 different companies, literally. It's I don't need. I'm good. And while he's sitting there, which one is it? I believe it's the AAA Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, the AAA Championship, Mega Championship. But yeah, I mean, I feel like the NWA World Heavyweight Championship would make a whole lot of sense as the next title because Scott Don Callis keeps cutting these promos. Funk, Flair, Gagne, all former NWA
Yeah.
World Heavyweight Champions. So this is Kenny Omega and Don Callis are smarter than they look, and it may be like it is bigging up Kenny Omega as the greatest wrestler, but there might be a reason why he's naming these particular wrestlers. He's not naming the Hogans and all the other guys. He's naming particular memorable NWA World Heavyweight Champions. They have the connection with Billy Corgan and the NWA. Nick Aldis has been champion for 800 days. NWA is doing well on Fight TV. Fight TV is happy with their partnership, but as far as creating interesting programming, they're struggling. They don't have any buzz in the wrestling world, and this would give it to them. They see what is happening with Impact Wrestling. We can also report from the early reports for Impact Rebellion that it's the eighth highest pay-per-view since last summer in all of professional wrestling. So one of the highest buy rates since this whole pandemic has started. We're gonna get more reports during the end of this week, but before we are recording this, so that's the early reports right now. But it's looking good for Impact Wrestling, and overall their viewership is up on TV. So this is something that NWA could
benefit from.
Yeah, Krssi Love, what was your thoughts on the match Swann and Omega, and what title you think is next?
First of all, I don't see any losers in this type of deal whatsoever. I think Rich Swann did definitely win, even though he got the belts taken away from him. But I feel like he did win in some type of way. Like you said, JJ, they had a good bout back and forth. Like it was steady. Like it wasn't like no slow pace match. It was like going back and forth. And I think Rick did such a great job. Match was very good. I only saw that match. I didn't get the pay-per-view, but I seen the important match that I need to see.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I enjoyed it. And shout out to Don Callis. I didn't even know who Don Callis was until he started coming on to AEW. And again, I didn't watch Impact like that or whatever. So once you guys like start talking about it, I was all right, I'll start watching him. That man is a genius. Don't know. He needs to get his credit. He needs to get his flowers because coming to being a smaller baby and coming to a bigger baby, you know, like all of these guys, Tony Khan, all of them, they are doing something that I don't think has been done before. Am I right? And it's something that's actually golden and is working and is making more people watch and making more people be in tune to these other brands of wrestling. And I think that shout out to them for putting on a great match and putting this together. Who Omega is now going to go against? I'm not sure. I guess maybe you have, you said, SP. Maybe he will do NWA since Don has been saying these things in his promos about Ric Flair and all the other guys that have had that belt before. So if he's going to be the collector of belts, then let's go to that one because they are working with that brand. So let's do it because I don't see them going to get the stuff at New Japan or whatever like that right now. So it's on someone else over there. So that's a totally like that. They're not even going to put those eggs in that basket over there. So they might as well take those new eggs and take it over to this other place where they already in partnership with anyway. And have him. Who's the champion over there though?
Who with NWA?
Yes,
Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis. Okay, well, I'd love to see it. Let's happen. I could, I'm excited. So I'm excited for this brand of wrestling. Even though WWE is getting a little stale-ish right now for me, but it is what it is.
Cool. Quick question, yo. So how about can we at least make the NWA title something at least it gets protected a little bit? Like say Kenny goes for the title, but Nick Aldis actually retains his title. And then they have a rematch for all of the gold, and that's when Kenny actually claims everything.
That's
I just want that title to be protected a little bit.
That's convoluted. That's too convoluted. And Tony Khan's not going to have Kenny Omega lose with the being the
his belt, yeah.
He's not going to lose. He's not going to lose a singles match being the AEW champion. Unless it directly involves something that's leading to on AEW television.
Nick Aldis, man, been champ for 3 years, man. That shit is like kind of tough to swallow.
Hey, he's been champ long enough. He's done good by the brand. He works with creative. I think
Nick
that he.
Aldis is chasing Bruno San Martino, damn
Oh
it.
God, I hope not. But yeah, but he knows that he thinks about the big picture, the big business. He can get back his title in the long run afterwards, but let Omega get that title to bring eyes to NWA because right now it's a low buzz. Like I
no
feel
one is
bad.
excited. Yeah,
I feel bad for Stat King having to review that show sometimes because it's not the most exciting show. At least Raw is horrible on astronomical standards and levels.
not
Like
astronomical, friend.
yeah, it's not really that. It's not Raw bad, but it's definitely not AEW good. It's not in the middle of good sometimes, but a little bit stale on occasion, like SmackDown. It's not like NXT where it's good wrestling and just boring storylines. It's just
Right.
boring.
It's just bad.
Boring.
Yeah,
The matches aren't long enough. The promos aren't exciting enough and
they
aren't
don't
good
even
enough.
have any promos to be honest. Like what
No, they
promo?
do have promos.
No, yes,
Okay,
they open it.
power-ass promos, but they're not the best.
You said who has promos?
Power and
Oh, Power.
NWA Power.
No. Okay. No, I thought you were talking about Raw. I was like, I mean, it's promos when they open the show and probably gonna close the show, but like other than that, just yeah,
absolutely.
that's Raw.
Yes, we have to move on, guys, and talk about what else happened at Impact Rebellion. Something else I wanted to ask you guys about was a preview for Slammiversary that aired during Rebellion.
Okay.
For Slammiversary, their next pay-per-view in July, that teased the likes of Samoa Joe, Kazuka Okada, Mickie James, Great Muta, and Chelsea Green returning to Impact
What?
Wrestling at Slammiversary. This is something similar to what they did last year in Prelude to Slammiversary following the WWE releases. They only showed, people that had a connection or have appeared on Impact Wrestling before. Not all the people that they teased last year did appear at Slammiversary, but we did see the likes of the Good Brothers, Eric Young, Heath
Yeah.
Slater, Brian Myers all come in to Impact Wrestling. So I'm gonna ask you guys, out of these superstars that were teased during this teaser for Slammiversary, which of these superstars do you see showing up in July at Slammiversary? Krssi Love.
Definitely Samoa Joe's gonna be there.
You think Samoa Joe?
I think he's definitely gonna be there and give a good like F voice. You know what I'm saying? Like good for you. I hope he does that.
I think the best idea that I had, because I was thinking instantly like Samoa Joe come, I want to see Samoa Joe versus Kenny Omega. But you gotta there's money into the surprise arrival, the surprise return. So the best idea that I've heard is from my good brother Alex McCarthy. He says he thinks Slammiversary it's gonna be Omega versus Moose for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Omega wins, and then Samoa Joe returns to Impact Wrestling to close the show, and we have to stare down between Omega and Joe to end Slammiversary.
Oh, I'll take it. Sure. That's still my pick, Joe.
So, Top Guy JJ, which of these superstars do you see showing up in July at Slammiversary?
I mean, I definitely think Samoa Joe will create the biggest buzz, but I am all for a return of hardcore country. Like I'm all for it. Like let me see the return of Mickie James to some glory days, baby.
Hardcore country, yeah. That's so cute.
Yo, that I love that little stunt where she had there in TNA at the time. But yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. Like give me some hardcore country because she actually would get utilized on that program.
Yes, she would be a big time person coming in, especially with like Deanna Purrazza being the anchor of the Knockouts division. It would be interesting for Mickie James to come in. I would love to see Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green had the best run here in Impact Wrestling as the hot mess. That would be great. And Kazuka Okada, is
Okada, yeah.
I
Okada
think that's just too good to be
redeeming
true for
himself,
me. Like that's just too good to be true for me.
redeeming himself.
I think they're just trolling us with that one. I think
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
trolling us with that one.
I want Okada to redeem himself from that horrible run that he had in Impact Wrestling a decade ago. He needs to come in
Yeah.
and
Was
just.
it that bad?
It was horrible. It's the reason why
Oh,
Impact and New Japan haven't worked together in the years.
oh, wow. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So I do want to ask you guys, just name one dream match you would like to see with the current Impact roster and one of these superstars. Krssi Love.
Uh, hmm. Definitely, Joe and Omega.
That's the one you want to see.
I want to see Joe and Omega. Yes,
Top guy JJ.
Oh wow!
that is a hard one, though.
From
Yeah.
from AEW. You know what? Like, since I'm let me
No, I said
just give me a
Impact.
good old Samoa Joe and Eddie Kingston and just
I
kill
said
each other.
Impact.
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 These are people that are teased for Impact Wrestling,
I
not
said dream
AEW.
match for Samoa Joe for all Impact wrestlers.
Impact
Oh
Wrestling.
God, only Impact. So give me Samoa. So then give me Samoa Joe and you know what? Give me Samoa Joe and Moose.
Ooh,
That
that's
would
a
be
good one.
That would be a good one. All
Yeah.
right. So we got to talk about the rest that happened at Impact Rebellion. Let us know in the comment section below what you thought about Rebellion, anything that stood out to you from the show, and who do you think out of those teasers for Slammiversary is going to show up at the pay-per-view in July. We also had Finn Juice retain the Impact Tag Team titles, defeating the Good Brothers in a surprising result as the New Japan team retained against the residents from Impact Wrestling. We had a big debut as Big Cass made an appearance at Impact Rebellion as W. Morrissey, replacing Eric Young for Filing by Design in their win over James Storm, Eddie Edwards, Chris Sabin, and Willie Mack. How did you think W. Morrissey looked, Top Guy JJ?
He looked great. Still trash. Like he looked great. I'm happy that he's mentally able to get back into the wrestling world. I'm glad that he's mentally stable, and I'm mad that he looks physically awesome. Other than that, he still sucks.
Jesus. Jesus.
It's the
Can't
same
get
energy.
the
Like,
same ending praise.
was you expecting
Jesus.
something different?
Jesus. Diana Peraza defeated
I gave him
Tennille
his
Dashwood.
roses, but I ain't giving him no accolades in wrestling.
Diana Peraza defeated Tennille Dashwood to retain the Impact Knockouts Championship. And then Taylor Wilde returned to the company and confronted the champion. You had Josh Alexander defeat Ace Austin and TJP to win the Impact X Division Championship in a really good opener to the show. We had Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering defeat Fire and Flavor to win the Impact Knockouts Tag Team titles.
You did say she was gonna win.
I said that. Congratulations to them. And
So that's new champs.
Trey Miguel defeated Sammy Callahan. Yes, new champs. Sammy Callahan in a last man standing match. But that is not the only thing that we miss. We miss AEW Dynamite, and boy, oh boy, was it a fun episode leading into next week's Blood and Guts huge Dynamite special. We had a superb Pinnacle versus Inner Circle parlay promo advertised for this show. A bunch more. We had a title match in the main event. You can see the viewers for this week's AEW Dynamite right here. The magic of editing. Thank you, baby Seth. And that superb Pinnacle versus Inner Circle parlay promo exchange was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was good,
in every
yes.
way. It was the final go home segment ahead of Blood and Guts next week. We also had Darby Allin defeat 10 of the Dark Order in the main event for his fifth straight successful TNT championship event and his third straight main event of the show. In a surprising result of the night, Brian Cage defeated Hangman Page in a
Yes.
opener to completely bust open the AEW World Championship scene. Kenny Omega was held hostage by Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley, threatening to break his ankle until Don Callis gave them a match with Omega and Michael Nakazawa next week. We had the Young Bucks defeat Mike and Matt Sydal in a fun tag team match. Even with Matt Jackson pulling out the Johnny Cage load blow. We had they then was called out by SCU, who confronted them on their new attitude. Orange Cassidy defeated Penta El Zero M in a really good matchup. We saw the return of Cody Rhodes attacking QT Marshall following a 6-man tag with the Factory defeating the Nightmare Family. And also we had the announcement, a huge announcement, that Yuji Nagata, New Japan Pro Wrestling legend, will face Jon Moxley for the IWGP US title in 2 weeks' time. And then finally we had Miro beat down Kip for Arcade Anarchy all those weeks ago. Krssi Love, what was your thoughts on AEW Dynamite, and what was the highlight of the night for you?
I thought Dynamite was good last night. I was like, oh, do we have to see another Pinnacle and Inner Circle showdown again? But this one didn't disappoint, because I'm like, how many times are we going to keep talking back and forth to each other in the ring? I'm like, come on already. But no, last night didn't disappoint. I think this was the best one out of all of them that they have done. And it was a good send-off for this show for Blood and Guts for next week. I was very surprised that Hangman Page lost last night. I was like, nah, he's going to win, no problem. But I guess Homeboy from Taz's group needed that win, because they have been like doing bad to Team Taz. Most of all the guys on Team Taz have been treated very shitty. So I think for that part, yeah. But the highlight for last night, I would say, I love the whole Eddie Kingston coming out and holding Homeboy hostage. I thought that was really, really good. I like that part. That was the part for me.
Fair enough. Talking about the Cage versus Page matchup, yeah, that was just a surprising result. But right. I love what the overall message is that wins and losses do matter, and AEW does this where you think that you can predict the storyline or predict where they're going, and then they kind of twist it on its head, and they did that here. And Brian Cage needed the victory, and he really dominated this match, and it made sense because he attacked him during the entrance. He gave him the power bomb on the ramp, and Hangman Page was never able to recover from there. And he was on a roll, and they kept talking about how he's number one contender, how he's not confident enough to get the shot at Omega, and now he just stopped dead in his tracks, and now he has to rebuild himself back up to that spot. Top Guy JJ, what was the highlight of AEW Dynamite for you this week?
Oh my God! It had to me. It just has to be that the end off, that Pinnacle and Inner Circle promo. Like, oh my, I didn't know that Chris Jericho was capable of that type of promo. Like Chris Jericho, you get what I'm saying. Chris Jericho, we know Chris Jericho is slick with his words. He's great with his tongue.
He's
but
fast.
That passion and that fire, and talk about where he came from and his come ups and how he got to where he was, and he became this passionate rookie all over again. Like, he became a guy that is just fighting his way to the top all over again. And it was like, where the fuck did this come from? Right. We've heard Chris Jericho spit fire before, but this was a different type of flame. This was a flame of, you really think you know what it takes to take my spot of all people. Let me explain to you how the fuck I got here. And now you think at 20, 25 years old, having some cheap ass Burberry scarf that you could just come in and take it? Yo, I felt that shit. That shit was fucking fire. And Santana and Ortiz's reaction to FTR talking about their kids, bro. Like, yo,
the Bronx came out.
He's like, yo, you can literally see Santana like, yo, watch your fucking mouth, yo, watch your fucking mouth.
The Bronx came out. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yo, this shit is real. Like I loved every, and then when fucking Tully Blanchard tried to come in at the end of Jericho, you are not cutting off my promo. You better, yo, that shit was so well done. It was so well done, and to me, it was like, oh, I'm good on the rest of the show. Like, I love the Darby Allin main event with 10. Like, I thought I was like, how the fuck are they gonna make Darby Allin beat this guy this week in a different way? And that they did that finish with the sleeper with the cradled legs was like, damn, they just know how to do it. They just know how to do it. Like, Dynamite just hits it on all cylinders for me, and just the you can see the little pickings that they're not even talking. Like, Don Callis is, when he's talking about the Elite, how he's not even talking about the Good Brothers as much because they fucking failed. They like he by God, Kenny Omega, the best damn tag team in the world, the Young Bucks, barely even mentions the Good Brothers. And
the Good Brothers are here.
Yeah, know how to hit the areas, man. But my highlight was definitely Jericho. But that show was really, really strong for me in general.
Strong for the standoff for Blood and Guts.
Yeah, the Darby, I love the Darby finish. He sold the hell out of that full Nelson. It made you actually believe 10 was going to win. And then he pulls out the Bret Hart, Roddy Piper WrestleMania 8 finish. Great stuff. The Pinnacle and Inner Circle Parlay segment might be one of the best promo exchanges of the year. Like, it was that strong. Everybody was strong, from Shawn Spears saying that, Jericho's leading Sammy into deep waters, and I'm the guy that's going to step on your head when you're drowning. Just that line is probably the greatest line Shawn Spears has ever spoken in a professional wrestling ring.
Sammy Guevara's come back. I don't believe you.
Yeah, he was like, all you've done here is fail. And that's what you did at your last job. And just Sammy being defiant and saying that no, we're not gonna flip a coin. I'll start in number one and y'all can have the advantage. And everyone having his back because Sammy's the one that quit the team. So if
right.
Back and be like, you're an idiot, which he is for giving him advantage, but they just had his back on it. That made sense. Everything Jericho was just on point. FTR was just great. They talked about the gravity of this match and really bigged up the violence and promoted hyped this up of how violent this match is going to be. And then just Santana and Ortiz once again just being defiant. That's all the Inner Circle kept being. The Pinnacle kept trying to pit in their head that they're going into a match that they're not going to survive, and the Inner Circle was like, yeah, we know, but we're still ready to fight. That was like the overall message that kept going. MJF was incredible. It's wrestling 101. You big up your opponent, so it means something when you defeat them, or when you lose to them, it means something as well, because you lost to someone you said is the top star in all of AEW. He's the guy that put feud on all the people in the back's mouth. But I see that burden is getting to you. I see your eyes are a little bit red. I see you're a little bit tired. I help you out and take that burden away from you. MJF was just, man, you feel
superb.
Top guy JJ said that was the best Jericho promo that we've seen in years. That might be the best Jericho promo we've seen since 2008 with his Michaels and Jericho feud, one of the all-time great feuds in WWE history. That's as good as Chris Jericho gets.
But that's promo. That's just what I was just saying. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna have another promo, another standoff with all you guys talking again.
They never had a standoff.
They never had face to face.
Not face to face, but they've always been like, one group talks this week, the other. I'm just like, come on, let's just. I was kind of over it, but last night made it like, okay, the best for last. Great, no problem. Because I'm just like, all right, we know you guys are gonna fight. Let's just not. Don't talk about it. Be about it. Let's go. Like, come on. Like, I figure like people.
I've honestly liked the way they've booked this. I like the fact that they've done the promos the way they've done it.
Slowish, But AEW is way different with how they do things, and their stories take longer, and they add to like the whole like.
This is the
You're gonna,
issue that's going
yeah.
on, though, because people think that they're rushing into war games, but then on the other end, you think they're going too slow. They have to. They're kind of in the middle. When
That's
I
what I
think
was
that people,
literally
I
gonna
Yeah.
say.
think
I was
I
like,
think
this is
people
Yeah.
are
for
on one
yeah.
side of the fence and the other side of the fence,
Yeah.
while
You're right.
AEW's in the middle,
Yeah.
and people need to realize like they're going at their pace. Yes, Blood and Guts. I think should be the blow off. It shouldn't be a
Right.
stepping stone. It
Right.
feels
Right.
like
Right.
it's the stepping stone to MJF versus Jericho
Correct.
at Double or Nothing. But I think it should be the blow off of everything. But I think it just makes sense for the Pinnacle to win this one after everything, and especially if this is just a stepping stone to like the next chapter of this.
Right.
It just would make sense for them to win. But we're gonna hear Krssi Love and Top Guy JJ's predictions on Blood and Guts at the end of the show for sure. But we gotta also talk about what happened on Tuesday night with WWE NXT, where they were slightly down actually from last week's 841,000 fans. They
I'm
drew,
not surprised.
yeah,
Sorry.
they drew they drew 744,000 fans this week. Legado Del Fantasma defeated Kushida and MSK in a really good main event to set up 2 title matches in the future. Yeah,
Yeah.
Cameron Grimes went to a jewelry store to buy a watch and was outbid for $1 million watch by none other than Ted DiBiase. Goddamn Ted DiBiase! Sadie Martinez beat Dakota Kai by disqualification after Raquel Gonzalez attacked to set up a title match in 2
2
weeks.
weeks. Okay.
Bronson Reed defeated Austin Theory to get another shot at the NXT North American Championship. The Way had more drama with Index, yes, that is their official name, Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell, as
I'm done. No, stop it.
Dexter Lumis allegedly sent flowers to Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart that led to a saddened Indy Hartwell being
Aw.
confronted by Lumis during the Reed versus Theory match and saving her from being hit by Austin. And then Indy and Candice attacked Ember and Shotzi to set up a street fight next week on NXT. Finally, we heard from Adam Cole for the first time since TakeOver and how he won't let Kyle O'Reilly or Karrion Kross take his spot as the face of NXT. So what was your guys' thoughts on NXT this week, and what was the highlight of the night? Let's go to you, Top Guy JJ.
I didn't watch NXT.
I'll
I'll give a full explanation. I will give a full explanation as to why I didn't watch NXT at all this week.
I'm
NXT,
trying to hold my face
they're,
from laughing,
they're,
but I can't.
they're affiliated with a certain bunch of dickheads that we're gonna talk about later.
Oh,
That I can't do it right now. I'm like on a mini strike with them, so right now they can all suck a big fat cock.
oh, wow.
So sorry, not sorry at all. Fuck them.
Okay, I heard you.
Yeah.
Krssi
Next
Love,
segment? Oh, okay. No.
what was your highlight from NXT this week?
I didn't watch it, but I did watch the highlights online. However, I'm kind of in the same boat as Top Guy JJ at this point with WWE because it's been a stale run after WrestleMania, and they had just been like doing a lot of things to people that is just not very, very, very nice. And you have to remember. I know this is a business, and I understand that you have to run your business, but the way you treat people is not business like. You have to consider people's feelings in the same time. And I think what they are doing right now is very, very sad, very low class. And I just at this point it's just like it sucks because there are people that are working there that that are good people, but the higher ups and the people that are doing these things are really saying "f you" to people and fans, and it's really not cool. However, I did love I love that Dakota Kai did lose, and that's going to be a good setup for those two ladies to have their fight. I'm excited for that match. I'll probably watch it, but right now I'm just like, ugh. But whatever.
Well, I guess I'll talk about NXT a little bit. The main event was probably the highlight of the night. Legado Del Fantasma looking strong in the main event was
They
really
made him
good.
look strong.
It was
Yes.
a really fun matchup. I like Escobar laying out Kushida powerbomb through the table and then laying them out at the end of the night. And then them posing with the titles was a nice little touch. I absolutely marked out and loved Ted DiBiase and Cameron Grimes at the Jewelry Star. That was just great. I like the overall message that was set in the opener with Mercedes Martinez and Dakota Kai. Although I didn't like the finish with the DQ finish, I
Right.
you're protecting Dakota Kai, and the story seems about building to Kai versus Gonzalez, which I do think is
Eventually.
up in the NXT Women's Division. And I actually did enjoy the Index stuff this week. I didn't like it.
See, man, enjoy the Index stuff, man. Come on, you know it. You know it. You know y'all want to have
I
a little bit of Dexter in you. Come on,
I
come on,
didn't like it last week,
come
but
on.
this week it was actually fun. I liked the little dynamic of the way. Obviously, it's the way that sent the flowers to Ember and Shotzi, trying to get in the head of Indy Hartwell and try to split her apart from Dexter Loomis. I like them being the star-crossed lovers. I like that
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
So that I
I've been
did.
a fan for it for day one. Just saying,
I know. I know. This
You don't
week,
have to roll your eyes. It's okay.
Raw this week was another bad episode, but yes, we got to recap it here on Tru Heel Heat.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman beat Drew McIntyre to be added into the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania Backlash with Bobby Lashley. We had Charlotte Flair return thanks to Sonya Deville, who got her suspension lifted and made a match where Charlotte beat Mandy Rhodes. And we had Riddle and Randy Orton form RK Bro for the first time, defeating Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Miss Krssi Love, what was your thoughts, if any, on Monday Night Raw this week?
Okay, so for Monday Night Raw, loved the RK Bro. Thought that was hilarious. And I was not a Bro fan, but since you made me be on the bandwagon, so I love the RK Bro. Bro. However, I was so confused when Sonya Deville was standing in the Raw ring. I'm like, don't she work at SmackDown, or doesn't even matter now? It's just both brands. I'm like, it doesn't even matter anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's
Adam Pearce appears on both brands.
Adam Pearce is now at both locations too. Now I'm like, what is happening? Now I'm like, whatever. Okay, sure, WWE. Yep, you just right now you're just like background noise on Mondays. I have it on. If I see something happen that's cool, I watch it. If not, I'm still doing my things as I'm, moving around at night. That's just what is happening right now. So, but the highlight for me was RK Bro for sure.
Yes, Raw was pretty insufferable up until RK Bro.
That's actually saying that's a generous word for it, friend.
Yes, it was definitely insufferable. Before RK Bro came on the screen, their backstage segment was absolute gold. Or I think it's Riddle just talking nonsense to the interviewer, and then Randy Orton shows up and he says, "What planet are you from?" And he says, "I'm from Earth." And Randy Orton responds and says, "Shut up! We have nothing in common." And Riddle responds, "Except we're from Earth." I started dying laughing. I found that just his delivery and the way he said it was just awesome. Riddle and Randy Orton, give me more of that all day, every day.
But I was like, whose idea was it to put them together in a match? I'm like, these things, like, you guys make no sense. You're just throwing people in tag team matches together now.
Sounds like I didn't miss much.
You didn't, though.
Not really. All right. But that is all for what we missed, and we got to move on to our top news story. I thought it was a lot last week with our top news story.
With the trash, what was it? We had what was the name of our show? Trashgate? No.
Our name of our episode was Trash Bag Rebellion.
We got
a lot of good responses. Thank you for everyone who watched us live on Saturday morning.
Nice job, nice job last week.
122 with Romeo. Trash Bag Rebellion. We talked about the Mickie James trash bag incident. And just when I thought I was done talking about this, I've talked about this on so many different shows. We are back talking about it again. Tru Heel Heat 123. As this week, Mickie James tells all regarding her final run in WWE, as well as what she's calling Hefty Gate. on Grown Ass Woman podcast.
When
As
was her
well as
last
we had to
run?
put
Because
this
I'm
to
trying to remember it.
our last run was with the one that just ended.
Right, but
Yeah, she was a part of the roster for like 3 years.
I know
Yeah.
she was in the roster. Trust me,
Like if
I
you go
know.
on WWE.com, you would find her name in the archives.
Right, yeah, definitely. I know that part.
So
But
she
go
was
ahead.
there.
I know she was there, but go ahead, finish SP. I'm sorry.
As well, we're going to talk about Carmella, events about WWE's view on women's wrestling on the Bella Twins podcast. This is a lot, so I was letting you guys talk before I talk about this because there's a lot for me to talk about.
No, go ahead, talk. We'll just
All right.
we'll chime in at once go ahead, chime.
So, following what is now being referred as Heftygate, Mickie James has spoken in depth on her final run in WWE, as well as Heftygate, on the latest The Grown Ass Woman podcast with herself, Victoria, and SoCal Val. Mickie detailed how she felt during her run and the events leading up to her release.
Mm-hmm.
I took portions of the quotes, so not the full quotes, but portions of them.
Okay.
She says, over the last 2 years, with getting switched to SmackDown and not getting used, I never debuted on TV. I tore my ACL. I kept feeling these things of, we want you to retire. We want you to be an agent. It was what they wanted for me. It wasn't that I wasn't grateful for those opportunities, but at the same time, I see the agents and what they have to go through. They don't get any praise or thanks that they deserve. They deal with a lot of crap. I don't know if I could personally handle that. I'm too much of a creative person. Ideas that I had, they fell on deaf ears. If I fight for something, it's what I genuinely believe. I have tons of ideas. Not all of them are great, but if I think it's great, I'll promote it. Some ideas that Mickie had included pitching stuff for the WWE Network, including a grown-ass woman type show with various women in WWE. Mickie had a big conversation at WrestleMania 37 weekend that didn't go the way she had hoped, leading to her having doubts about her position in the company. This is her quote right here. She says, anything I pitched, they weren't into. I wanted to find a balance in between. There was this moment where I said, what if we do an all-female brand? If I could help lead up that and have an awesome team of women, we have the talent, tools, and facilities, it would really help all the girls who are not getting television time. This one person says to me, they're never going to do it. Ever. Women's wrestling doesn't make money. WWE Evolution was the lowest rated pay-per-view ever in WWE. I get what you're trying to do, but I don't understand why you're fighting so hard for it. You should play the cards you've dealt and see if there's a way to incorporate that within a show rather than fight for it to be its own show. I just realized that every decision they do, a lot of it is business and how it falls in line with business. I'm just disappointed as a whole with being made to feel old with Depends and a Walker and the whole ageism thing. Speaking about the trash bag incident in particular, Mickie said, all I can do is laugh about it. It's not even about the trash bag. I was astonished at how it took off. I almost deleted the post because I felt it came off too nasty or bitter. I was being sarcastic and laugh at myself in the situation. I got myself the exact same way 10 years ago. The difference is, at that point, I honestly believed it and took it to heart and thought this is what the company thinks about me. I know I made bad decisions, but at the same time, it didn't spark there. Between the Mickie James stuff and even in the last run, it's just how I felt positioned in the last 3 years. It's okay. I'm good now because I'm in a good space and I can express myself in a real fashion. I was like, wow, they still do this? This is bullshit. It's also kind of comical because it's literally how I felt that they thought about me for the last 3 years whenever I pitched anything or talked about anything. To piggyback off of those comments on the Grown Ass Woman podcast, I definitely suggest that everyone go out of their way, recommend you to listen to the Grown Ass Woman podcast from this week so you can hear Mickie James talk about her final run and her release. To piggyback off of that, we had the Bella Twins podcast this week with a current WWE superstar, Carmella, who sounded off on the current direction of the women's division. Carmella, on the current booking of the WWE Women's Division, there's a portion of her quote, not the entire quote. Even myself, I would sit at home and watch Raw, and it would be 10 p.m. before I would see a woman on the show. It's like, this is a 3-hour show. What the hell? Even if I'm just a fan, which I am, like if I didn't work at WWE, I would just sitting at home watching. I want to see the women. That's why I tune in. If I'm waiting until 10 p.m. to see a girl, it's like, what the hell? That's not okay for little girls at home or whoever is watching, waiting for the women. She also commented on the release of Billie Kay and plans that were now scrapped due to that. On her Axe storyline teaming with Billie Kay and WWE releasing her and Peyton Royce, she said, and I quote, "I don't know what the right or wrong things to say is. All I can speak from is my experience. We were super excited for this story, and I felt okay. I'm done with this whole sexy gimmick that they wanted me to do, which is fine. It's fun to be sexy, but I feel like I wanted to show more personality. I wanted to show a little bit more of a fun side. I was looking forward to doing that with Billie. Like you said, our entrance alone, she was cracking me up. So I was really looking forward to seeing where that was going to go. And unfortunately, we can't do that anymore. Even those two were some of my closest friends since they got here. So this was the first time I was really rocked by a release." Wow, wow, wow. That is a lot to digest, a lot to get through. First of all, let's talk about the Mickie James comments on the Grown Ass Woman podcast. Top Guy JJ, you didn't get an opportunity to discuss the Mickie James trash bag incident. I really want to hear your thoughts on that first, and then your thoughts on what Mickie had to say.
Well, the thoughts on that one, that's just in a nutshell. That's why I haven't watched WWE ever since I've seen that. It's like I can't support something that treats anyone in the way most things are visual. And one, I really like want to be able to thank Mickie James for being woman enough to have the courage to actually put that out there, because that gave Gail Kim, that gave Jillian Hall, that gave a lot of other women the courage to speak up and actually voice what happened to them as well. So this is a company's culture. Like, this is their culture. This is what they do. And no one has corrected this in more than a decade. This is disgusting. Like, it is disgusting. Like, when you leave a place where you usually leave on a decent note, like a trash bag, like that is the lowest form of an exit that you can possibly get. That is worse than you getting an office box and carrying your shit out. Like, it is a symbolic gesture of fuck you. Like, it is so despicable that I could never I couldn't envision, like, even if I've had the unfortunate responsibility of having to let people go and having to fight that, you don't leave them with an image like that. You don't leave them with an image of feeling lesser than.
Right. Yes.
James expressed that she felt the second time it happened. Like, this is the second time it happened to her. Not even the first. This is the second time. But obviously, the first time, the women weren't in a place in society where they can voice themselves and it would be as heard as it is now in 2021. So that's why, like, women like her, like, they are like, I want to see the best for people like her, because she is giving so many other women the courage to speak up. And for me to sit there and watch that and to feel as disgusted in my stomach as I did, and to turn around and go ahead and watch WWE Raw, no, I'm good. I can't watch that shit right now. Like, I don't know how long it's gonna last, because I've obviously grown up on this since I'm 4 years old. but I can't stomach watching a program that supports that shit right now. Like I can't do it. So the only wrestling I watched was the TNA, most of the Impact Rebellion pay per view and AEW Dynamite. Like I still love wrestling. I still got to get my wrestling in, but right now I just can't do it with WWE. Now with the comments with what happened afterwards with Carmella, it's a prime example of this is why I am so thankful for somebody like Mickie James because it is giving Carmella and other women the opportunity to speak up. Like Carmella is like, yo, come on. Carmella is probably feeling literally like a stereotype right now. She's feeling like the prototypical blonde, sexy woman from the 1998-99 Divas era or the blonde panty shit and not portraying her as an actual wrestler.
Yeah.
And it's kind of tasteless. It's very tasteless to me. Like not kind of. It's very tasteless to me. So hearing both spectrums like that, it's just like it's kind of like a cherry on top, dude. It's like, and the fact that Triple H, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, the entire WWE, I don't give a fuck who that guy is that they fired. I still don't even know his fucking name. I don't really care. I really don't care because this is the entire company's culture. This is their culture. This is something that not one person in the entire WWE company checked how they get rid of people's belongings and how they send it to them. Not one single person checked this. So this is all Carano's fault. This is all his fault. This is not the higher ups. This is not the management. This is not the people that check it. This is not the people that ship it. This is all his fault. Get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. I work in a company that does too many inspections, and mine is a lower tier company. We're not $1 billion fucking company that is on television every single week, generating millions of fans and has 30 million followers on YouTube. They are supposed to be the public face. Like, imagine if this should happen in the NBA or the NFL or the MLB. If they got rid of a woman talent or they got rid of any talent,
it would have been dragged for so much.
Trash bag with their name on a post-it that says their name.
It would have been on like Sports Center, all the famous news station. It would have been dragged a little bit more.
But dude, clearly it's something that they do very often because not only they have a pack of post-its and they just write their first name, Mickey, Donald, Houston, Ali, just throw all these shits on there, Billy, Peyton, all these shits got sit in the same fucking, but just post it back. That's just disgusting. That's disgusting. That's a disgusting environment, and to actually sit and then the fucking product is bad. Like I'm sitting there like supporting some shit because I grew up on it, and not only are they putting out shit product, they're doing shit to their people. Like I'm sorry. Like I'm not going to sit. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how long this is gonna last, but I cannot support something that does this to people. Like this shit is just fucking awful. It is so awful. It is despicable. And honestly, like anybody that has ears, that anybody that has a voice, fucking please use it because the WWE as like this is the perfect time, Krssi, to call the WWE a bunch of fuckboys. Like this is the perfect time for it because this is some real fuckboy shit. Like you're gonna treat people that you're gonna end up wanting to sit there and call them a couple of years later and talk about I want to induct you into the Hall of Fame. Yes. But you sent my shit in a trash bag. But you want to now call me and give me one of them bullshit WWE rings that you got out of a fucking one of those little fucking vending machines and shit. Yo, I saw Kane shit and I was like, "Are you fucking serious? Their whole ring is just a logo with a black background that says the WWE on it? Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yep.
That shit is a fucking that's a fucking graduation ring.
It is.
But to digress, like that, it's just despicable on all areas, and I'm not sorry for not even feeling supportive of that company right now. I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna get to because I'm definitely not watching SmackDown this week. I don't have the stomach in me right now.
Understandable, sir. Yeah. We don't blame you at all. Krssi Love, as a female wrestling fan, after hearing the comments from Mickie James and Carmella, what is your thoughts on the current treatment of the WWE Women's Division?
Very sad. I thought we've come a longer way than the Braun Panties era. I thought, the women had a little bit more value to them, but I guess we don't. It still proves that we have a long way to go. and it's unfortunate. And the last time I remember Mickie James being on TV, she was with Alexa Bliss. That's why I asked you guys, what was her run? I know she was there, but what run did she do? You know, you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I can't remember her doing anything. So she was being held and catering all this time, showing up to work, ready to work, and not given anything to do. And I'm giving you ideas. I want to work. I'm telling you I want to work. And you're not using me. You're using the same girls, which is fine. But on a thing like what Carmella said, it's like 10 o'clock now. Little girls are in bed now. It's their bedtime. So the first, at least the first hour, there's not one woman on the show. And it just shows you, remember I was telling you guys in past episodes, I wasn't really gravitating towards Carmella's new attitude, her new gimmick. I think that she was wrestling better, but the gimmick I just didn't understand. And that proves why, because she didn't even really like the gimmick. So when you read that, I was like, now it makes sense why I'm not gravitating towards this sexy image. Carmella's sexy. She's beautiful. All those ladies are beautiful. But if she doesn't even like being that character, I'm not going to like that character. And it proved that I didn't. And it's just sad. And I wish that it just shows that Vince and them are all fuckboys. And it's sad again that, we still have to work hard on this. And to, hopefully, we'll get more shine and more girls to talk up about it and go from there. So.
Yeah, it's just really sad to know how WWE is treating the females or not treating the females the way they need to. But do you guys think that there will be some type of change on their direction and how the women are treated behind the scenes following all of this backlash? Top guy JJ?
The WWE needs to put out an all-out press conference. Like, they need to speak to the people. Like, they need to speak. They need to publicly apologize. They need to but they're not going to. This is what I'm saying. This is why it's hard to support them, because they're not going to do shit like this. They're not going to be humble enough to stand up and be accountable for the bullshit that they have been put on blast by numerous.
Nothing will change, unfortunately, until Vince McMahon is down in the grave.
Well, then
nothing will change until that happens. And I'm so sorry to say that, and I don't wish that on anyone, but I'm just telling you that's what's going to happen. Sorry.
Got the appearance by Mr. Love.
Yeah.
We're getting the female viewers for this episode.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Love.
They said we got the female viewers for this week's episode. He's puzzled. Yeah.
I love it.
He's like, what?
That's going to make them even more curious.
Right.
Like, why he going so low?
Right.
On the street.
Krssi gonna start acting funny in a minute, and then we ain't even gonna know why.
I love it. We needed a laugh after talking about that. So thank you.
Yes, we needed that laugh.
That was a perfect timing for that.
Absolutely, and a perfect time for us to segue into the rest of the news rundown, because it was another busy week as far as wrestling news. Fightful Select is reporting that NXT referee Jake Wirtz was suspended earlier on this year and was not allowed to enter the Capitol Wrestling Center for NXT shows.
Who was suspended again?
Drake Wirtz, the
referee. Yes.
The site is reporting that Jake Wirtz, who has been a lightning rod for controversy among some in wrestling, has also had his duties within NXT massively reduced over the last few months. Sean Rossap of Fightful says that Drake Wirtz has been suspended this year and was not allowed at the Capitol Wrestling Center for NXT or 205 live tapings for a period of time. The report explains that once his suspension was over, Wirtz appeared to have subdued many mannerisms that got him substantial heat with many at the Performance Center. In 2020, Dave Bisbane published an article about Jake Wirtz, and it it has emerged that higher ups were horrified by what they read, with people in NXT speculating that Wirt's radical beliefs are why he hasn't been fired. Some of the issues are believed to be ongoing, with Fightful bringing up that a video emerged this week on Wednesday of Jake Wirtz calling into the county commissioner's meeting backstage at NXT to claim that mandates make child sex trafficking easier. Mandates on wearing masks makes child sex trafficking easier. That is what Jake Wirtz said on Wednesday while wearing an NXT polo during this video. According to Fightful, it's no longer the head referee for NXT. Any
You know what? Like, is that the guy that looked like he got like this the? I'm trying to picture what he looks like. I can't. You know what? Whatever. I'll go. What is his name?
He was the one that was the referee in the one final beat match between Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa last year.
Okay, I think I'm seeing the face. I'm seeing the face, but he's a fuckboy, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Any comments, Soft Guy Jake?
No, all I hear in my head is Stat King from like 3 weeks ago and says, "Y'all watch this shit." Like, that's all I hear. That is all I fucking hear now. Is that y'all watch this shit?
Yep,
like,
you can say it. Yep.
All I hear, and it's like, oh my god, we fucking do.
Yeah.
Like, oh my, what? So wearing face mask makes human sex trafficking easier.
Yeah.
So he's clearly a fucking pedophile.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He's clearly a pedophile.
Yes.
Because he is literally giving up his own job description easier because of what he is, because who I have spoken to.
Oh yeah, he looks like a little slimy sleeve bag dude. Yeah, he looks like Mike the Situation. That's him, right?
I've interacted. I've talked to hundreds.
He's gone. We've lost SP. SP is lost. He's gone out of the screen. I don't see him. He's gone. SP, come back. Come back.
Situation. Wow. We went back to the real world road food challenges and shit.
No, Jersey Shore, friend. Get your challenge people together.
I apologize. All that reality shit came out.
Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm not. Tell me I'm lying.
2 weeks in a row, we mentioned an MTV reality show. 2 weeks.
Thank God. Hold on. So it's like, hold on, yo. I've interacted with thousands.
Okay. See, I knew it was him because I'm like, yo, that's the only guy that was like the head referee. He's now gone, and I'm like, we ain't seen him in like mad long. Yeah, he looks like a slime ball.
Now I'm gonna have to ask Romeo to make a meme of Mike the Situation, make to Jake Wirtz to insert right now.
This is what represents this fucking company. This shit that you got Karuro, whatever the fuck his name is. You got this slime ball. This fucking watch your kids.
What is his name? Jake what?
Jake Wirtz.
Watch your kids if you live in the area where he lives at. But it's like, oh my god! Like, I've interacted with thousands of people since this pandemic has fucking come through. I have never heard that shit once. I haven't even heard. Not even. Oh, he's two out of like 3,000. He is one of all that I've heard. He is the only person that I like. What the fuck? Like, what is going on in that place, yo? Like, what is? Like, goodness, great! Like WWE, like.
I'm happy to have had SP have a good laugh for today. If he didn't get any other laugh for today because he has other shows he has to do, I'm happy I was able to give him that one for today.
You definitely did.
And we have yet again the second week we have referenced MTV shows on our podcast. Just saying.
MTV, come on. PW Insider reports that WWE has tentative plans to run some test live events this summer. But it is still early in the planning stages, and obviously depends on where things stand with the COVID-19 pandemic. By then, there will also be different rules depending on the city or metropolitan.
We're definitely gonna do SummerSlam outside for
That
sure.
that
For
brings us
sure.
to a tweet from Wrestle Votes. They say that WWE is trying to determine a hot SummerSlam location for them to go to.
Hope
It's
it
still
fucking rains on
early,
them.
so we shouldn't hear.
Like WrestleMania.
Hope it fucking has a thunderstorm that is fucking, and they're not in a dome, so they're not covered by that fucking stupid.
We shouldn't hear an announcement on the SummerSlam location until about like June.
June,
Now
yeah.
Now
For
that
August.
John Laurinaitis is working back to talent relations, there have been changes with WWE producers as well. Jason Jordan has now taken over the role of John Laurinaitis as lead producer and
Good for
also
him.
has more responsibilities within the company. Adam Pearce has also moved up in the company, although details about his current role are unknown at this time. So congratulations.
Was Natty's husband?
He works mostly with the WWE Women's Division. Natty actually didn't get credit because he
did
produced all the women's matches at WrestleMania. He produced.
I mean, it was only 3 of them.
It was 4.
Okay.
Hey, at least he's got a role.
Right. No, he did, and he did the main event very well. So shout out to him.
Fightful Select reports that the real reason that AJ Styles and Omos have not appeared on WWE TV since WrestleMania is because at least one of them wasn't cleared after the event. They appeared on The Bump this week to explain in storyline that they have been on vacation in Nigeria where Omos got a severe sunburn, but they will be back next week.
Are you fucking okay?
And also to note, Omos is not from Nigeria.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
So they met up with Apollo.
Yeah, pretty much. Fightful Select has more details on recent WWE Raw creative changes, which included Sheamus winning the United States Championship from Riddle at WrestleMania 37, and the previously announced Randy Orton Braun Strowman match that never took place on Raw last week. According to Fightful, after Sheamus won the title from Riddle at WrestleMania, which was a change planned finish on the day of WrestleMania 37 Night 2, the plan was to have them continue their feud. However, that obviously changed after the show, as Sheamus hasn't competed on the previous 2 editions of Raw, while Riddle began a short program with Orton. Sheamus has now moved on to a feud with Humberto Carrillo, it seems, and Riddle is starting a program / partnership with Randy Orton with RK Bro, as we talked about earlier. Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer
It looked like Randy Orton was trying to hold all his laughter inside, but he really couldn't, though.
Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Radio reports that according to a fan in the Thunderdome, WWE producers were telling fans to cheer Rhea Ripley this past Monday on Raw. This is weird considering that Rhea has been heel since before WrestleMania and teamed with the very much heel Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler on Raw. So it seems that they are confused on where Rhea Ripley is aligned with. AEW news: Warner Media acquires the rights to the NHL package for 7 years over NBC and the USA Network, which has led many fans to question if this will affect AEW's time slot on Wednesday due to that day being the hockey day. Right. Tony Khan commented on this on the Busted Open Radio this past Wednesday, saying that they have had their TV deal with TNT for the next 2.5 years for Wednesdays in that time slot. So there is nothing to worry about. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, AEW said that the maximum amount of tickets that would be on sale for the Blood and Guts event would be a capacity of 2,500. However, Meltzer reported that the amount of actual tickets that went on sale for the event was around 1,500, plus or minus about 100 seats, which was sold out in about 2 hours. Now there is only, they have put more tickets on sale, which leaves about 354 tickets left. Impact Wrestling's ads on last week's edition of AEW Dynamite for Rebellion were reportedly paid for by Impact. Ads for Sunday's pay-per-view aired on Wednesday's episode of Dynamite, and according to the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, those ads were not embedded as part of the show and instead were paid for by Impact like any other ad might be. New Japan Pro Wrestling News, according to a report by PW Insider, Vice TV sources stated that New Japan Pro Wrestling was offered a TV deal that is similar to what MLW has come to terms with. However, New Japan Pro Wrestling ultimately opted to turn down the deal with Vice TV, which seems like a mistake now. Impact News, Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio reports that Kenny Omega will make his first defense of the Impact World Championship at the next Impact Plus special, Under Siege, on May 15th. ROH News, the partnership between CMLL and ROH has come to an end. CMLL announced on Tuesday that their alliance with ROH has reached its conclusion, ending a partnership that has been ongoing since 2016. The announcement comes just 2 months after CMLL released a joint statement with New Japan Pro Wrestling, reaffirming their commitment to the partnership moving forward. CMLL and ROH has not held any joint shows since September of 2019, with Joe Koff noting that the pandemic made it difficult to work with their partners in that capacity. There has been no word yet on the partnership between New Japan and Ring of Honor, but we should keep our eyes open for any news regarding that, with CMLL ending ties with Ring of Honor. ROH started their Women's Division series, which will air every Wednesday on the ROH Wrestling YouTube channel. It started this past week. And a report from Fightful Select has an update on the new contracts Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis signed with Ring of Honor. They both reportedly signed full-on contracts that replaced their previous agreements that were set to last through June 2021. According to the update, their new contracts will run through the end of 2021, and they come with an option for 2022. Mike Bennett stated that after they returned to Ring of Honor, there was a feeling out process for both sides to make sure things would work out well, and after the initial feeling out process, ROH and Kanellis and Bennett expressed their desires to continue their working relationship. So congratulations once again to Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis. And then in final news, interesting news, in an interview with Super Luchas, Alberto El Patron said that he will be facing Andrade El Idolo at Nacho Lucha Libre event in McAllen, Texas on July 31st. So Alberto El Patron versus Andrade.
He paid for that whole match.
Hey.
I mean, he had
he paid for that whole.
Can we take off Patron? Just Alberto Del. Just that. Oh god.
Whoever works with that man has no soul. And the fact that Andrade, listen, I get Andrade because he is there for a paycheck, but the company that decides to work with Patron has no fucking soul.
Hey, maybe they're just heels. Maybe they're just
whatever.
Heels. They like the.
He's a real life piece of shit.
I mean, fuck boy.
Well, there you go.
Right.
We move on to our final segment of the show. We got preview and predictions for the big shows coming up next coming week. We got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, huge shows. New Japan Pro Wrestling, Wrestling Dontaku, nights 1 and 2 on May 3rd and May 4th, as well as on Wednesday, yes, AEW Blood and Guts. First of all, we got to talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling, as their next big events are this coming Monday and Tuesday. Wrestling Dontaku. We're going to name the matches that are on both cards, but we're only going to get preview and predictions for the top matches. On night 1, we got Toriyano, Tenzan, Tiger Mask, and Master Wato versus Evil, Yujiro Takahashi, Taji Ishimori, and Dick Togo of the Bullet Club. We're also going to see 6-man tag team action as Kazuka Okada and Roppongi 3K, Sho and Yo versus Minoru Suzuki, El Desperado, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. We're going to see Shingo Takagi teaming with his LIJ stablemates Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Bushi versus the United Empire, Will Ospreay, Garrett O'Khan, Aaron Hanare, and Jeff Cobb. And then we got our top 3 matches on this card, as it's going to be Zack Sabre Jr. going one-on-one with Tonga Loa. If Zack Sabre Jr. wins, Dangerous Tekkers of Sabre Jr. and Taishi will get another shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles of Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga, the Gorillas of Destiny. So who wins? Zack Sabre Jr. versus Tonga Loa. Let's go to Top Guy JJ.
Ooh, damn. It's kind of hard going against my GOD guys, man. It's kind of hard doing that, but he's by himself. So I'm not sure about the single stuff, man. I'm not sure he going to pull us out against Zack Sabre on his own. I got to go with Zack Sabre on this.
So what you're saying is he's not good by himself. He's only good when he's with a partner.
He's better with his tag team partner. Not good. Don't put words in my mouth.
Okay. She's trying to...
I see. You see what he did there, right? I saw that.
Zack Sabre is a savage in the ring, and there's no hot tags in this match.
This is true.
Krssi Love, who you got?
I was going to say Zack Sabre Jr. from the get-go, but that's just me.
Wow, you was gonna go with Zack Sabre and you go.
Because you was like, oh well, he's good when he's in a crew. I mean, just call it what it is, bro. We don't need to know. Just say what you want to win.
Sometimes you're a better tag team.
Keep that Tru Heel Heat, son.
Hey, Kofi Kingston lost to Elias 2 weeks ago. Like, what the fuck?
All right. We're talking about New Japan now.
Right. Like Zack Sabre Jr. for me, friend. Who you got?
I'm going with Zack Sabre Jr. as well. Ladder match for the Iron Fingers of Azuka were blessed to Taishi. All those about a year and a half ago when Azuka retired from New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's been holding on the mantra and the legacy of the Iron Fingers ever since then. But ever since the Dangerous Tekkers have come across the Gorillas of Destiny, it's been Tama Tonga who has been getting in his way, stealing the Iron Fingers, and now we come to the culmination of this, a ladder match with the Iron Fingers hanging above the ring, the second ever ladder match in New Japan Pro Wrestling history. This is the first ladder match since 2016 when Kenny Omega versus Michael Elgin for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship, and we will see who will be the owner of the Iron Fingers. So who wins, Tama Tonga or Taishi? Krssi Love.
Taishi for the win, friend.
Taishi for the win. Top Guy JJ.
I'm gonna go with Tonga. I gotta go with Tonga on this one. That's my guy, man. I can't go against him. That's my dude, man. I can't go against him. I could go against the other one. I can't go against him.
Oh, see?
He stays loyal, but I'm gonna agree with Krssi Love, Taishi for the win.
So both guys are losing that night. Okay, great. Go ahead, finish.
Yes. Main event time. It's for the Never Openweight Championship is on the line. It's going to be Hiroshi Tanahashi defending against Switchblade Jay White. Hiroshi Tanahashi, of course, won the Never Openweight Championship back at New Beginning in Sapporo in a classic 5-star rated matchup against Shingo Takagi. Switchblade Jay White then defeated Tanahashi in the New Japan Cup to move on, but Jay White came up short in the New Japan Cup, and ever since then has changed his focus to the Never Openweight Championship. And he says since he couldn't be the first ever double champion with the IC title and the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, he's going to claim the Openweight Championship, then claim the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and then bring back the Intercontinental Championship so he could be the first ever 3-title champion in New Japan history. So who wins? Switchblade versus the Ace, Tanahashi versus White. Top Guy JJ.
Definitely going with Switchblade on this one. Like, he's had enough of the loot. He's done given up enough spots already. He's done lost a couple times. Listen, Tanahashi is a fucking legend no matter what the fuck happens to him. So this is all about Switchblade fulfilling his prophecy.
Who you got, Krssi Love?
Switchblade for the win, friend.
We got 2 for Switchblade. I am going to be the contrarian and say that the Ace gets the victory. Tanahashi has not defeated Switchblade in one-on-one competition since Switchblade returned to New Japan all those years ago at Wrestle Kingdom 12. We are going into Wrestle Kingdom 15. No, we're going into Wrestle Kingdom 16. So, yes, I think it's about time Tanahashi gets another win
What you got
over
against the
Jay White.
Switchblade?
I don't have anything against the Switchblade. I don't have anything against the man. I'm just calling it like it is, and I think it's the ace that keeps the title and keeps it at that main event status. But New Japan Pro Wrestling comes back the following night with New Japan Pro Wrestling Dontaku Night 2. You're gonna see Taishi, Zack Sabre Jr., and Dookie versus Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Jado of the Bullet Club. We're gonna see Kazuchika Okada and Sho of Chaos versus Minoru Suzuki and Yoshinobu Kanemaru of Suzuki-gun. You're going to see LIJ's Bushi, Sanada, and Tetsuya Naito versus the United Empire's Jeff Cobb, Aaron Anare, and Great Okan. And you're going to see Hiroshi Tanahashi, Toru Yano, Tenzan, Taguchi, and Master Yado versus Jay White, Evil, Kenta, Yujiro Takahashi, and Taji Ishimori of the Bullet Club. But we're going to get predictions for the top two matches, both of them title matches. IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship is on the line as El Desperado will defend the title against Sho. Oh no, against Yo of Roppongi 3K. Excuse me, I always get those mixed up. But yes, he's gonna verse Yo of Roppongi 3K. El Desperado, of course, won the title after Hiromu Takahashi relinquished the title. Now he defends against Yo, who got the big victory with Roppongi 3K, reclaiming the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles a couple of months back at Sakura Genesis. Well, a couple of weeks back at Sakura Genesis, and now Yo gets an opportunity returning against the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Krssi Love, who you got? Yo versus El Desperado.
I'm gonna go with Yo for the win.
Yo for the win. Top guy JJ.
Yo, listen, man. If you lose to a person if you lose to Yo, you need to just retire. Like, I'm not losing to somebody core. I'm not losing. Yo, Roppongi 3K is a whole lot better than Yo and Sho. I'd rather lose to the duo than somebody named Yo. We are definitely retaining this title.
Okay, well,
Hey, I am going to agree with Top Guy JJ. El Desperado retains the
it sounded
title.
like somebody was gonna agree with me. He was like, no.
I think Despy retains the title. I've been big on Despy being the junior heavyweight champion. I think he should hold the title at least until Hiromu returns. Okay. And then finally, the main event of Wrestling Dontaku, both nights, the conclusion, the closer, is for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, as Will Ospreay will make his first defense of the championship against Shingo Takagi. These two men went at it in the finals of the New Japan Cup, a classic 5.5-star rated from Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer, a match of the year candidate for sure. And Will Ospreay then went on to defeat Kota Ibushi at Sakura Genesis to win the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And then we set up this match with the winner versus Kazuchika Okada on May 29th in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Grand Slam. So who wins? This is the fourth match between Shingo and Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay won the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors 26 in 2019. He won the finals of the New Japan Cup this year. Shingo won in the G1 Climax last year. But who wins this fourth match between Shingo and Will Ospreay at Wrestling Dontaku? Top guy JJ.
Absolutely, man. Will Ospreay ain't losing that. He ain't losing at this point in time.
Right.
Listen, man. He's got to make that little American Nightmare title look special, man. He ain't losing that shit. Not now.
No,
absolutely not.
Absolutely
not. And that's Will Ospreay's time. Fuck out of here. Will Ospreay for the win all day. It's gonna be a great ass match, though.
Miss Krssi Love.
Will Ospreay for the win with his American title. American Nightmare.
Yes, Shingo and Will Ospreay have had nothing less than 5-star rated matches. Their lowest rated match was 5 stars in the G1 Climax last year. Their highest rated was the Best of the Year finals in 2019, which was 5 3/4 stars rated. Earlier this year, they have a 5.5 star rated match. This one will be another classic, but yes, I agree. Will Ospreay for the win. And then the final card for us to run down is AEW's huge episode of Dynamite this coming Wednesday, Blood and Guts. After a full year of it being promoted, it was promoted last year in Newark, New Jersey. It was supposed to be the Inner Circle versus the Elite inside of the 2-ring steel cage with a roof. But now we get it a year and about a month later. It's finally going to happen. May 5th, 2021. A full card has been released as it's going to be Britt Baker in action. We don't know who she's going to verse, but they're heating her up on her way to Double or Nothing, where she will presumably get a shot at Shida for the AEW Women's World Championship.
And win. Yep.
You got Cody Rhodes will go one-on-one with QT Marshall. These two men have been feuding ever since QT Marshall turned his back on the Nightmare Family and beat down the Nightmare Family, forming the Factory with Nick Camarado, Anthony Ogogo, and Aaron Solo. So who do you think wins this grudge match here with Cody returning last night on Dynamite this past week? So, top guy JJ, who you got, Cody or QT?
They gotta make QT win this match because I have no interest in this whatsoever. Like none. I have no QT is not doing it for me at all. So he's just not. I'm sorry. Like the crew is okay, but he's just not. So he has to win this match because he's just not that good. So he just needs to win this match. He has to win this to get some credibility. Some credibility. Sorry. He needs it. He needs it.
Krssi, Cody, or QT?
I think QT. I think Cody is good to like push him and make him go over. That's my stance on it. I don't know about Dr. JJ. He's got another.
It won't be clean, but he gotta win.
I see the goal of the Factory is to push Anthony Ogogo. It's not really to push QT Marshall. I think Cody gets the victory here, but the Factory beat down the Nightmare Factory afterwards. With Anthony
so it won't be clean. Okay.
With Anthony Ogogo laying out Cody again.
Even SP ain't with QT.
What happened?
I said even SP ain't with QT.
Kenny Omega and Michael Nakazawa will verse Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston in tag team action. Who do you think wins this one? And you said you did like the segment on Dynamite with them holding Kenny Omega hostage.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty dumb to get this match and not ask for a title match.
I thought it was, that was stupid or whatever. But I still like the segment. I'm thinking they're gonna probably hold it down to like Double or Nothing because now you see like has to John is gonna fight
Yujiro Nagata
the next week. So I think they're holding that down for like Double or Nothing, which is like their big show. So they don't want to.
Who do you think it's gonna be at Double or Nothing?
John and Omega.
You think John and Omega again?
Yeah, you don't think so?
I think it would be Eddie versus Omega at Double.
Oh, because Eddie is more okay. I see. I got you.
He's the fresher matchup,
right? Because they've already seen each other already. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, give him a chance because he does have beef with both parties anyway. So that's. Yeah.
So who you got? Okay. Moxley and Kingston versus Omega and Nakazawa.
I feel like Omega and Nakazawa is gonna win, not clean, but they're gonna win.
Top guy JJ?
I mean, this has to lead into, if you're going to talk about Kingston and Omega being at Double or Nothing, I see Jon Moxley helping Eddie Kingston pin Kenny Omega. Like it has to be a reason that Eddie Kingston gets this match. Like there has to be a reason he gets this match because his win-loss record ain't doing it. His pinfall victory over Kenny Omega would get him that match because we know Mox is on his way out because he's about to have a beautiful. Well, I didn't know that there was a gender reveal, but I know he's about to have a beautiful child on the way.
I think it's a girl.
And you know Renee is like probably going to be ready to pop right after that pay-per-view or something. So it's got to be that. It has to be that. Like Eddie Kingston has to get the pinfall to get a rightful title match.
That wouldn't make sense. I'm going with Moxley and Kingston to get the win, but I think they would pin Nakazawa. But
That's what I was gonna say. They're gonna
it
pin
makes more sense
Makazawa.
to pin Omega to set up the match. AEW Tag Team Title number one contenders match: SCU versus Varsity Blondes versus the Acclaimed versus Jurassic Express. The winner should go on to verse the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing. Who you got in this one, top guy JJ?
You know what? They've been seeing something with the Acclaimed. So I think the Acclaimed is gonna get. I think the Acclaimed is gonna get over on this one. I think they're gonna open some eyes with this victory here. Like we all know we love Jurassic Express, so I don't think they need it as much. But the Acclaimed, I think they're gonna be on to something with those guys.
Krssi Love?
I'm going with SCU since they just came back, and they need like a little bit of a push. So I'm gonna go SCU.
Yeah, SCU seems like the likely to win this one after their promo on Dynamite this week,
Right.
and they have the whole story going on that if they lose their next matchup, they have to split up as a tag team. So it makes sense for it to happen here. I just wish that they would have gotten more wins on actual Dynamite before this matchup. This match, it
They haven't even been on TV that much. Like matter of fact, they haven't been on TV at all.
Like a little forced. This feels a little forced.
It is, yes.
But it just makes sense for
Yeah,
SCU.
you're right with that dialogue. It makes sense. You're right. That makes sense.
And then finally, we have the main event of the evening, the aforementioned Blood and Guts match. 2 ring, a steel cage, and a roof on top. The only way you are able to win is by submission or surrender. And it starts out with 2 people, 1 person from each team, and I think it's every 2 minutes or every 90 seconds, a new person will enter the cage. The Pinnacle have the advantage in this Blood and Guts matchup, thanks to Sammy Guevara. We know Sammy Guevara will start it off for the Inner Circle. He will be the first man in. But who wins the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle, Blood and Guts? Miss Krssi Love.
I'm gonna go with Pinnacle, friend.
Going with the Pinnacle, with the pineapple. Who you got, Tom? Top guy, JJ.
I mean, look, man. If you want the Pinnacle to mean anything, they have to win this match.
Yeah,
they have to win this match. Like, if you want them to eat, like this faction makes no sense if they don't win this match. Like it literally makes no sense. Like you're gonna put this group of misfits together for 3 months and to lose.
No,
like it doesn't make sense. Like you want 2 main factions in this company. The Pinnacle must win this match. This is a must win for the Pinnacle.
Yep.
We are unanimous on that. The Pinnacle have to win Blood and Guts. This would establish them, solidify them as the top stable in AEW. They need this win. They are the newer faction, and this will really make them where this is something they can always talk about, that they won the first ever Blood and Guts match. So MJF, if you want Chris Jericho's spot, winning Blood and Guts is the first way to do it. So this should be a hell of an event, a hell of a Dynamite special. So should Wrestling Dontaku for New Japan Pro Wrestling. If you want to watch Wrestling Dontaku, it's going to be on Monday, May 3rd, and Tuesday, May 4th. It's available on the New Japan Pro Wrestling World app, as well as AEW Blood and Guts. If you're in the U.S., of course, you can watch it on TNT. If you're outside of the U.S., you can watch it on Fight TV on Wednesday, May 5th. That brings us to a close on another edition of Tru Heel Heat, Tru Heel Heat 123. We got a hell of a lineup on our YouTube channel right now. You can check out the A&E biography, Roddy Piper review. We have a new edition of the returning Raw recap with Richie's Raw recap. He's been struggling watching those horrible episodes of Raw, but he has finally blessed us with another edition of Richie's Raw recap. You can check out the latest from Dark Power, AE recap, NX3, Fusion of Honor, and all the great reviews and stuff that we got going on the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel, as well as the Impact Rebellion Roundtable review. I'll be back with J News of J News Japan. We're going to be talking about Wrestling Dontaku Night 1 and Night 2 on next week, so stay tuned for that. And also stay tuned for myself being on the AE Recap with Jimmy and Marcus Cash reviewing AEW Blood Guts this coming week. Krssi Love, tell the people where they can find you on social media.
I am one of the co-hosts with my two lovely bros right here. The Tru Heel Heat page. You see us every week. You can find me on IG, Twitter, and on Facebook. Krssi Love _ just Miss Krssi Love, and just Crystal Lentz on Facebook.
Top Guy JJ, where can they find you?
You can definitely find me here at the weekly podcast Tru Heel Heat. You can also find me on Instagram at Tru Heel _ Top Guy JJ. You can find me at Facebook at Justin Johnson. And yes, until next time, I cannot wait to chop it up. Hopefully, it's not as polarizing.
Fingers crossed.
Right.
Check out our community wall right now. You can see my latest appearances on Alex McCarthy's Wrestling Daily. I was with Alex on Wednesday. We talked about the AJ and Almost. We debated who's the man in the professional wrestling world. Alex supports Roman Reigns. I said it was Kenny Omega. So check out that great debate there. You can check me out with John Scott on Powered 4 SP3, where we talked about everything going on in the wrestling world. You can check me out on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel with Smack Talk, reviewing this week's SmackDown with Rick Ucchino and Dutch Mantel. Definitely check that out. And I've also appeared twice on Wrestling Daily this week. I was with Stephanie Chase on Thursday talking about everything going on in the wrestling world, including the Carmella Bella Twins podcast, as well as Mickie James on the Grown Ass Woman podcast, and of course AEW Dynamite with Miss Dynamite. And then I'm over on Steph Chase's YouTube channel for her 1,000 subscriber party. Congratulations to Steph Chase for hitting that milestone on YouTube. So we had a great time over there on her YouTube channel. So definitely check that out as well. And of course, follow the gang. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, Tru Heel Heat. You can find me on Twitter at Tru Heel SP3. Find me on Instagram, Tru Heel _ Epic SP3. You can follow our friends at Battle Club Pro, Powered 4 TV, Wrestling Travel, Warrior Wrestling, Mission Pro Wrestling on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and follow all of their pages on YouTube, as well as My Battery is Dying, Jimmy Macaram, where we have our Falcon and Winter Soldier review for the finale. Definitely check that out, and we'll be back in June with the low-key reviews and reactions. And of course, go over and follow Wrestling Daily YouTube channel. We just went over the 10K mark on Wrestling Daily, and when we hit 15K on the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel, it's been announced, the video is out there, it's War Games on Quizzlemania, as Wrestling Daily will go against Wrestle Talk. Myself, Alex, Louie, and Stephanie against Foursome from the Wrestle Talk brand. So that's going to be a good time. So definitely go over and subscribe to the Wrestling Daily YouTube channel. And listen, make us one of your favorites. Leave us a review on all your favorite audio podcast platforms if you're listening to Tru Heel Heat. And you can check out Tru Heel Heat on Powered 4 TV. So for the lovely, the beautiful Miss Krssi Love.
Okay, because I'm not too sure if I...
For our resident Tru Heel alcoholic, Top Guy JJ, it is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3. This has been Tru Heel Heat 123. We are signing off until next time.